hunter, so that's a little concerning. Interesting. Alright, that's not the end of the world by any means. No. This game is going alright for me so far. Hopefully it will continue in this direction. Yes, follow Legendary Neurotoxin as well, please. And Amusing, who I still haven't actually seen stream, but I see that he is streaming a lot. When are we getting the in-game bobbleheads? I have no idea. I think Geek Domo is talking to someone on the development team about it, but they aren't telling me too much about it. So I think it would be pretty cool. That's a bummer. Because I know what's going to happen here. Oh, surprise. Oh. Oh, no. That is a bummer. Oh, that's also a bummer. Come on. I can't play either of them. But, I mean, this guy's probably pretty dead. We'll see how it goes. He's going to unleash some hounds or something, but most likely... Huh. Well, that's getting interesting. These could be some big hounds. Not that many of them, but... Alright, and I apologize if I missed anything in the chat while I was doing my stories. Okay, well, I don't know what he's doing now. Cool, great story. Yeah, I apologize if I missed anything while I was telling stories. Yay, level 9. What is this? What is going on? All right, strange people. You are getting timed out and banned. You know, do really appreciate nobody spamming the channel or, you know, whatever that abstract high concept drivel that dude was posting was. But hopefully we'll keep them out. And also probably should mention that I am looking for a few more mods, particularly people who can help out with things like highlights, things like that. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, and you know you're willing to just hang out and help out and are already a positive part of this community, then please drop me a Twitch message and we can chat about it after the stream. Oh, it's summer, right? I forgot what being in college is like. It's been a while. Not doing anything, just hanging out. Oh yes, Satellizer and Poro, you guys can obviously be mods. I know that you guys have a lot of your own stuff going on too, so... Well, Zaitsev, you're being replaced. No, I'm just kidding. Could definitely just use a few more people, I think. Zaitsev and Cody have been modding for me for a while, and they're both really good. Just one of those things where, you know, the more folks you have who can just take care of random crap when somebody when somebody starts just posting it, the better, because you know, the stuff is, especially as you streamers know, like, very difficult to pay attention to the chat, pay attention to the game, make sure everything is happening, make sure that all the tech is actually running the way it's supposed to, that sort of thing. Speaking of spam, have you ever had a spam musubi? Yes, I have. Actually went to Hawaii for the first time last year, probably about 6 or 8 months ago. Right after SOE Live, I needed a little break, so went to Kauai and had it there for the first time. It was not my favorite thing in the world, but certainly pretty tasty. Can you still get anklets to give away? No, Satelliter, we're not giving out the anklets anymore. We're going to start giving out feathers in a bottle. So, and the plan is that every month, and like when I say every month, it's, you know, it's probably not like the first of every month, but right around the first of every month. All right, well, there's a guy who's getting banned. I can take care of that one. Probably a good sign that random spammers are coming in, right? But let's see, what was I just saying? I have no idea what I was just saying. Maybe someone can help. Oh yeah, about feathers in the bottle and such and such. Alright, hang on. What is my plan here? Oh, I know what my plan is. Maybe this will go really well. And it did. But yeah, sort of the first of every month, we're going to swap out the item. Basically, and the goal here is that we want to make sure that there's something like fresh every month, a reason for people to come back, right? Like, you know, for people who are only like lightly engaged with the property, like, you know, the ability to get something cool is a reason why you would come to the chat, you know, or, you know, come hang around. You know, not everyone thinks we're all that cool, unfortunately. So, you know, this is just one of those nice incentives. So hopefully every month we'll change out the item to something else. And what that means is those items are incredibly, incredibly rare. You know, just a few thousand of them will be given out in a month. So if you have one, then, you know, consider yourself to be pretty lucky. Alright, he's playing a lot of dudes. I like how playing Doomguard is almost always the right decision. It's one of those things that's pretty easy to remember. Well, awesome that so many folks grew up in Hawaii. Yeah, Satelliter, how's that conversation going? I have been hearing different levels of progress on that sort of thing. It's not, you know, the Insider program is not my program. Like, I'm not running it, but, you know, I definitely like to make sure that we're actually doing our part. Yeah, your lunar anklet codes will continue to work. They will always work. But we're just not going to give out any more of them. Kauai is my favorite place on Earth. Kauai is beautiful. Oh, you live there, Iforin? That's awesome. Whereabouts? What about the negative aspects of giving out items that can only be gotten through a random chance? Well, I mean, it is what it is, and, you know, that's certainly... this is not going to go well. I mean, it's certainly a consideration, but, you know, they're promotional items. Like, they are giveaways. And, you know, any giveaway just has like, terms and conditions that go along with it. And, one of the things is these are mostly given out randomly, and there aren't that many of them. You can always trade for them in the game, find them different ways. And over time, we'll have other ways to get them to sort of even that out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm definitely gonna lose this game. Looks like. Maybe not definitely, but certainly looking like I'm gonna lose this game. Wonder how many lunar anklets are out there. Well, I can actually tell you that. Not at the moment. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but I have a spreadsheet with every single lunar anklet that has been given out. I didn't realize he was so low. Not paying enough attention to the game. Hey Radkosh, how are you doing? Sure am enjoying my first time for the stream, Real Jeremiah says. Well, thank you, I'm glad. We aim to please. Alright, let's see. I just need to draw a good card and I win. Which is pretty much the mantra of this game. Those aren't good cards. 6, 7. I should be okay unless, I mean, depends what he draws. So could very easily lose this game. All right, Satellizer. I'll definitely have a conversation with Rye and figure it out because I don't know. Seems like not enough stuff is happening quickly enough. Buckwheat says some of the insiders aren't playing Landmark anymore. Yeah. Thank you for following, Yoshura. Yeah, I mean it's totally up to them, right? Like our goal is to provide some incentives to make it a good idea to play Landmark, but at the same time, like people have to go play the games that they want, right? Whether it's because they like other games more, or in a lot of cases, especially for growing streamers, right? Like they want to play whatever game people are most interested in. Oh, that's really good. So he's dead. Well, yeah, did he already attack? Yeah, he's dead. Great. Yeah, because he just doesn't know I have this. So that's good. Oh, or that. Yeah, so I mean, people are going to play what they want to play, and that's cool. Like, the point of the Insider program is certainly not to force anyone to play anything. It's just to say thank you to people who do, right? Really, like, most companies don't do anything for streamers, and we want to do a lot of stuff for streamers, and, it's a really new thing, and I think, give it a year or so, and every company is going to start doing something, but it's a really new thing, and everyone's kind of experimenting with how to best relate to streamers and what it is that people who stream really need. Thank you for following King Cobra. I appreciate it. What streamers actually need and what's going to make their lives better and easier and that sort of thing. And because of that, like, it's really just an emerging concept. And things like the Insider program are very much like experiments towards how to do this properly. Random number generation is a terrible aspect unless it's related to risk effort. I don't think so, Cypress. And we can agree to disagree, but certainly randomness has been used to tremendous effect in everything from baseball cards to lotteries to collectible card games to Dungeons and Dragons. to poker. You know, randomness adds like a layer of randomness, sorry, to activities, and because of that, you know, it has a tremendous effect on what people think and how they behave. And the whole reason that we're giving out these items is for marketing, right? We want to get people excited. We want to reward people who are coming where we want them to go. And that's it. Like, we don't have to do it, right? It's primarily there because we know that by creating something like that, it'll incentivize people to, participate in something we think is important. We think it's important to help people who stream Landmark grow their audiences, grow their channels, become partners, all of that stuff. And this is one tool that's in our toolbox that can really help that happen. So, yeah. Tank Man. Yeah, that's not something that I can super help with. That might be something that the community can help you with. You might want to post that in the forums, and maybe they can help you find a place. But that's going to be pretty tricky. Pretty tricky for me. Will the anklet keys expire when the feather comes out? No, Poro, they won't. So if you still have them, you can still use them or give them out, that sort of thing. We may expire them at some point in the future, but we'll give you, plenty of notice if we decide to do that. Oh, Nadsack, yeah, I've seen the real Archer characters. That's pretty cool. Will the Landmark Insider program carry over to EverQuest next? Probably in some form or another, or we may just start a new Insider program for EverQuest next. This is all brand new stuff for SOE, so we're evaluating it and figuring out how it works and how to best use it in the future. Devent says, I have to say the things you've done so far in Landmark is groundbreaking. Well, I certainly appreciate the pun. But yeah, I mean, and thank you for saying that. We're really trying really hard to make it awesome. And we're really excited with where it is now, but even more so where it's going. Yeah, and so Poro and Saddleizer said two things that I think, are really what we're hoping that, things like the lunar anklets and the feathers do. She says, I appreciate it a lot. It makes me feel like a special snowflake. And Saddleizer says, it's precisely why I'll be sticking with SOE for the long run. They realize how important streamers are. Streamers can really make or break a game. Yeah, and I mean, we definitely, JDM forever. Yeah, well, if I was smart, I would have it screenshotted and posted somewhere, because that's what smart people do. But I can definitely just show you the deck in my collection while we're talking. And I got the original list from Elohim. It's a fairly standard Warlock deck, except, like I said, I took out... Crap, what did I take out? I took out one card and I put in this Raging Worgen. And I think you guys have seen it's been pretty useful. Just trying to remember what that card was that I took out. Probably not gonna figure it out. But anyway, I'll leave this up for a second so you can screenshot it or whatever. Will the Founders pick ever be upgradable? Yes. We plan to make it so that if you have the Founders pick, you'll be able to use it throughout the whole game. We just don't have the system quite in play yet. Cypress says, streamers are free marketing. Well, I wouldn't say that they're free marketing, but they are marketing. They are exactly the kind of marketing that does the best work for us. But, at the same time, it's free marketing if we're not paying any attention and people just happen to stream it for us. But that's really not how it works. Like, some games get lucky, and that's what happens, but I don't think that's the reality of how it's going to work in the future. I think in the future, companies are going to be paying a lot of attention to to streamers the same way that they pay that music companies used to pay attention to like DJs or something like that, right? They're people who, by controlling what is broadcast, have a lot of say in what is popular, but they're also not, so senior or big in the, no individual streamer is so big that they can shape the policy for the game industry. So I think that DJs is actually like a pretty good analogy for where they fit into the ecosystem. But it's a very important role, right? Because your DJ, like your local DJ, is the guy who told you which songs were good when you were growing up, like that sort of thing. So they have a tremendous amount of influence. Yeah, and again, great chat. So I'm getting behind and not playing, but hopefully you guys can see the deck over here while I'm chatting. And it's really good. I mean, as you guys have seen, I don't have I lost one since I've been on? I can't remember. I feel like I did, but it's been going pretty well so far. Cypress says, I agree, but when these streamers have a limited amount of codes, it feels like a huge waste of time when you don't get one in your 1 month time frame. Sure. If all you're trying to do is get a code, I guess I can see that. The hope is that in coming and hanging around and playing and doing those sorts of things, you'll get more out of it than just what the code would be. We also do give out codes for, just at random times for people who are doing something awesome, being helpful in the community in different ways, that sort of thing. So, if you're really, really, really obsessed with getting every single thing, then I highly recommend finding ways to just be a positive member of the community, because, there are people in the community, like, for example, Voidlust, right? Who builds just the most insane, amazing stuff, and is also like really helpful and very pleasant and a huge active member of the community, right? If Voidlust were to send me a tweet and say, "Hey, can I have a feather in a bottle code?" I absolutely would immediately send it, right? And that goes for a fair amount of people, right? But it's because they've done other things to make them noticed, right? Like the streamers that are in the insider program. We always send them a copy of whatever, because they're doing something that's like really, really valuable to us. And, we want to reward that too. So, I would say there are definitely other ways to do it. And if you absolutely have to have it, I would, start looking around for ways to contribute to the community as well. Have I seen my picture on the side of the museum Onus has set up? No, I don't think so. Do you have a screenshot of it? I would love to see it. Yeah, and really, have a nice night, Tank Man. Thanks for coming. Really enjoy the Arcage conversation. I'm not gonna weigh in on it because obviously it's one of our competitors, and I have opinions about it, but I'm much more curious to see what your opinions are, because your opinions of what they're doing will shape our future business strategy, right? But the dancing system I want. Yeah, the dancing in that game is so cool. I'm waiting on H1Z1. I really want to set zombies on fire. I set my first person on fire in H1Z1 today. I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping, I'm not sure when, but I'm sure they'll let us start streaming it before too long. So I will definitely stream a round of H1Z1 when I can. I set a dishwasher on fire today. I'm not sure if that's an intended interaction in H1Z1, but I kept hitting a dishwasher with my torch and it caught on fire. Jyrod says, Arena's kicking my butt again. Jyrod, do you have Anti-Gravity's Arena pick orders? Because if you don't, I would highly recommend looking those up. They will help you get a lot better at Arena. Yeah, just catching up on the chat. Good night, JDM. Nice to see you again. I appreciate you coming by. What do I think of EQ1 emulator servers? Scomag asks. I think that they violate our IP, and they are not something that we've authorized. So I'm not thrilled that they exist. So if you operate one, I would appreciate it if you turn it off. I mean, I think what they're doing, the concept of it is cool, but as a person who works for Sony and someone who works in the entertainment industry, it's essentially the same thing as piracy, right? Like, we can't get behind it. Yeah, and just trying to catch up on the chat. I'm a wobbly curtain. Hey, I would really appreciate it if you don't post links to your YouTube channel or anything like that, unless you've asked me about it already. Generally, don't let people post promotional links unless I'm specifically already talking about them. Would really appreciate it if you respect that, and if not, I will unfortunately have to ban you. But it's just the sort of thing where the chat is so good that I'm behind on the stream, just trying to read what people are saying, and it just really sucks to have stuff like that in there. Oh, you just won a Trailblazer pack from Geek Domo. That's cool. Arcage has races other than humans. Rough. Just Mountain Man asks, just curious, Storybrick's going to be just in Landmark or in EQN or both? It's going to be in both. I think it's going to be a much bigger part of EverQuest Next, but it's definitely going to be in Landmark as well. And it's so awesome, guys. We've been working with those guys more and more, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for us to be able to show you more. Can't wait to show you more of the Storybrick stuff. This is so cool. Let's see. Classic Omid, yeah. Setting a dishwasher on fire. Cypress says, I appreciate your responses. I'm glad you act professional about them. Random number is a touchy subject with me. I feel its uses are very limited. Yeah, Cypress, and there are definitely people, people at SOE and all over the place who feel that way and don't like random numbers. As a person who, was born into random numbers, right? Like collecting baseball cards and Magic and stuff like that, as well as, being one of the people who came up with some of the more insidious random number strategies that are now causing Magic players sadness. To me, I see the value of it, and not just in the profit side of it, not just in what it does for the business, but also the psychology of it is really it creates a different kind of environment. It's a little bit hard to explain exactly what I mean, but they're just there was the game that I played a few minutes ago where I really should have lost, and the guy kept drawing just incredibly lucky cards, exactly what he needed, and I'm like, man, I can't, I'm definitely losing this game, and now look at this perfect stuff he's drawing, and then all of a sudden I just draw the perfect card and kill him with it, and then there's just these psychological swings that feel very good, in a game environment, right? Like there's this, oh, I'm losing, oh, I just won, like I'm winning, God, I can't believe I just lost, like, randomness adds that flavor to it, right? And I used to play chess not really well, but when I was really young, I learned to play, and started down the path of playing chess fairly seriously, and I started to realize, like, man, it's freaking impossible to be good at chess. Like, you really have to just play and play and play and read and read and read, and it's all you do. Like, I was approached when I was pretty young about being tutored by a grandmaster chess player, and it was basically like this thing where it's like, yeah, you're gonna give up your whole life and just do this, and maybe you'll be okay at it. And I was like, wow, that's that's pretty intense. And a big part of that is that you have to be that good at it to appreciate it. And with adding the randomness to these games, it lets you play the same kind of game and have those same kind of experiences, but not have to have nearly the skill level. So yeah, it's an interesting subject, and I'm definitely happy to talk about it. I can see Storybricks being in Landmark due to a building game, but why would they be in EQN? Well, so Mountain Man, we actually originally wanted them for EQN. We didn't, Landmark was a second project on that one. Hey, Kamuma, nice to see you. I'm doing all right. But the things that they can do in EverQuest Next are create an AI system where there's a lot of interaction, like a lot of things happening, where the characters can kind of think, which doesn't happen in most MMOs, right? Like in most MMOs, you have spawn points, right? Like orcs are here. There's an orc village, and this orc, and this orc, and this orc, and just every 15 minutes they respawn. And like in EverQuest, right? The same orcs have been spawning in the same places every 15 minutes for the last 15 years. So that system is just not that interesting to us anymore. What Storybricks offers is the ability for those characters to all have like a brain and move around the world and interact with the world, and not just be sort of tied to one location. And when they see something come into their field of vision, like they aggro on it and try to kill it, right? Like the whole world, every character in the world can kind of have a brain and react the way that the character would react, and it should have some really interesting interactions. So I'm really excited about it. Posting promo links is against the Twitch bro code. Can I stream some of that EQN alpha? Yeah, Satellizer, probably. The way that our NDAs are going, right? Landmark had an NDA of less than 24 hours. H1Z1 is not going to have an NDA. Very possible that EQN will not have an NDA, or that it will also just be to cover the first little bit until we make sure the servers are stable and things like that. Have a good night, Mice on Health. Thanks for coming. And you guys, if you aren't following the channel, I definitely appreciate it if you would. And getting so close to the bottom of chat again. Sadlizer says, I was in chess club in 2nd grade. Get on my level. All right, Sadlizer. Well, here's my story. I skipped the 2nd grade, so I started playing chess in 3rd grade. It was actually 4th grade, but yeah. Yeah, and I played for a little while, and I was like, oh man, this is not. Thank you for following Straws. Appreciate it. I was like, yeah, this is way, way too time consuming. This is before things like WoW existed. Didn't realize that your whole life can get sucked into a game so much. Oh, cool, KD. KD says, I posted the picture of the museum on Twitter. Yeah, I will definitely check it out when I have a chance. I appreciate that. Maliganok, I think that's probably how you say it, says, as a newcomer to SOE games, I find awesome that you guys seem to genuinely want our insights. I feel like EQN will set the genre on its head. Yeah, I mean, we think that having this like level of player interaction just makes our games better. And we're seeing the value of it, just in our game design. So it's been great so far. Good evening, Straws. Yeah, I don't play that much Landmark on my stream, unfortunately, because I'm not very good at building things. So, I leave that to, I mean, there are some people who are just incredible at building stuff. I should probably start doing some of the streams where I like tour around and look at stuff, or I could do another swap meet, but yeah. Will Landmark have magic for combat later, if Foreign asks? Most likely, yes. We actually just recorded a roundtable on this maybe a week or so ago, and I was even a little surprised to hear because I didn't think there was going to be magic in the combat, but yeah, I think so. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but we'll see. Will EQN have the 3 separate buyable packs like Landmark to be able to play early? Mountain I have no idea if we'll even do Founders packs for Landmark. And that's why I was saying, for EverQuest Next, that's why I was saying like the discussion about Arcage is really interesting because, we'll make that decision as close to when we're going to roll out the game as possible so that we have the best information, right? So seeing what people think. Thank you for following, Kit Rye. Appreciate it. Seeing what people think about, what Arcage does, what, Wildstar eventually does. Thank you for following, Onus Mireth. Appreciate that as well. Welcome to the little club here. But, yeah, seeing what everyone is doing is really important. And more importantly, seeing how people feel about it, right? If the Arcage model hypothetically is universally rejected, right? No one buys any of them, which is definitely not what's happening. Then we would say, oh crap, maybe we should not offer $150 packs. Of course, if $150 packs sell like hotcakes, then we might say, well, maybe we should have charged more. Maybe we'll charge more next time. Things like that. Like we have to factor the market in. We have to factor people, what people are doing into the game or into the economy of how we charge for these things. What about things getting hunted to extinction? Well, so most likely in Next we won't let you hunt anything to extinction, right? Like there'll still be like balancing elements, like very very hypothetically, right? We want 10% of all NPCs in the world in general to be orcs, right? So when orcs are spawning, in however they spawn, which we're still working on, it'll be like the minerals in Landmark, right? We look for which minerals are missing and we go to fill those in, like, based on equations. So, we probably won't have situations where people are able to say, kill all the orcs in the world and therefore there are no more orcs. Have a good night, Zaitsev. Thank you for coming by and thank you for modding. Does SOE ever hire programmers out of college? Probably. We hire a lot of programmers, so definitely worth considering. And if you, I don't know where you are in your studies at this point, Poro, but if you want to send over a resume or anything like that, first just look at our careers page and see if there's anything that makes sense. But if there is something that makes sense, you can shoot me an email and we can chat about it for sure. Does SOE consider WildStar a threat to its consumer base? I wouldn't say threat, Cypress. We consider WildStar to be a really, really good MMO, and so we know a lot of people who like MMOs are going to play it. And that's probably going to cause some of our fans to go over. One thing we've really noticed with EverQuest and EverQuest 2, because they've been around so long, our players are really loyal. So they'll go off and they'll try pretty much every new game when it comes out. So we'll see that like little dip when a new game comes out. But a month or two goes by and they come back. So no, I mean, we're not worried about it. We're excited, like we want to play. And having good MMOs in the genre grows the genre, and it's good. It's good for all of the companies. I've got to say something cooler than club. Yeah. Well, Tobes, what would you suggest? I do need something cooler than that. I've got to workshop all this stuff. So, yeah. Like if I were to have a subscription button or something like that, people have like welcome to the coalition, things like that. What should mine be? That's a great question. What do you guys think? If we're nice to orcs, can we make friends? Yeah, almost certainly. I mean, we're not going to use a straight up faction system like most games do, but if you do good things for orcs, orcs will tend to like you, and that will help you get along with them, and potentially unlock opportunities that wouldn't be available to a generic person of your race, right? Like if your race is I don't know, I'm just speculating at this point, but like you'll be able to certainly like work with people and they'll remember what you do, and what you do will affect how they treat you. Is Landmark still the proof of concept and development tool for EQN? It's certainly the development tool for EQN. I wouldn't say it's the proof of concept. It's a separate game, like it's its own game, but it's being used to build EverQuest Next. Omid scoffs at the idea of Wildstar being a threat. I mean, the thing is, right? Like the way that the game industry works, like there are very few times where you can trace in the history. This came out and destroyed this other thing, right? Like huge games come out and people flock to them, and then over time, people may lose some interest in other things. But like, if, for example, you're a huge Madden fan, you love Madden and you love Minecraft, and and then another game comes out that is on that level, you're probably not gonna just put down. You're not gonna say like, okay, well, no more Madden for me. Like, what you'll do is you'll add that third game and play a little bit less of these two. And then another one comes, you'll add a fourth game and play a little bit less of these three. And at some point, like, the game starts slipping out the bottom. But, it's very rare that a game comes out, like Minecraft is there, and then Super Minecraft shows up, and then everyone stops playing Minecraft, right? So, Wildstar is not a game that's going to, destroy our other games, If anything, it's going to cause new people to become interested in MMOs, come into MMOs, and then start thinking about, okay, well, MMOs are cool, and that's going to be great for EverQuest Next, right? Yes, competition is good. We love competition. Competition makes all games better. Portavar says, your place is the champagne room. That feels, and that's something too, like I was thinking about it, and, it feels a little, like, unfriendly to women, which would be my only concern. Like, another one that I thought was, like, kind of funny is, like, the gentleman's club. Not thinking about a strip bar, but, like, an old-style gentleman's club where it's, like, for aristocratic dudes, but at the same time, it's like, well, half your audience is not allowed in the gentleman's club, and, that's probably not the sort of environment that I want to set up, but yeah, the ozone, that could be it. I was just thinking about it too. Like, it should be something that feels inclusive, right? Like, a coalition is I mean, it's a great name, right? Like it's a very inclusive thing, like a community, a club, like those things. I think evoke this sense, or like Minecraft WB, uses like welcome to the family, right? They're really these nice things, like hey, we're all part of the same club, right? So that's the sort of thing that I guess I'm thinking about when I'm thinking of these sorts of things. Does SWE ever hire programmers that don't have traditional education but show aptitude for being able to create a working model without any documentation? Yeah, I mean, we're not, I wouldn't say that we are a credential oriented company. Some companies will be like, well, you need to have, this degree and this degree and this degree before we would even look at a resume. SWE says, well, you need to be able to do the thing that we want you to do, and you need to be able to prove that, right? So that's what we're really looking for. Welcome to my stream. Don't touch my scotch. Can we have mounts other than horses? Almost certainly. I think Dave means that we're going to start with horses. And I need to get some more scotch. What should it be? I've had a fair amount of scotch, so I'm no longer interested in drinking the expensive stuff. It's not good value at this point. So I'm gonna have a little Glenlivet 12, and if you're new to scotch or just thinking about trying scotch for the first time, I highly recommend starting here. Glenlivet 12 is very affordable and available basically everywhere. It's like $20 to $30 a bottle. It's very light, kind of sweet, like a little bit of honey, floral taste to it. And if you don't like it, you're probably not going to like scotch. So, highly recommend it. Cheers, guys. Thanks for the donations, too. I do really appreciate that. Hey, Enziru. How you doing? Need my velvet coat and pipe. Yeah, I was thinking certainly need a smoking jacket to be involved in all of this, right? The O team. That's great, McRaven. Welcome to the O team. Wow, that's actually really good. That's really good. The League of Extraordinary Omid Followers. That's funny, but again, like one of the things I love about the coalition or the family, right, is a family has a leader, a coalition has a leader, but it's not all about them, right? And being part of a family, gives you the idea that you're part of it, right? Like it's not just Superman and the Justice League. Oh, thank you very much, Udi Games. Oh, hey, Udi Games, nice to see you. Cheers. And I do have the list of horrible stories from my life. If you would like to pick one, I will post it into the chat. I'd be happy to tell any of these stories. Live it hype. How did my mount idea go over with the devs? Devents, I actually haven't had a chance to talk to him about it. I sent it over, but I haven't heard anything about it. I assume it went into the hands of the mid-level game designers, where they will either immediately throw it away or immediately begin incorporating it. The Organization of Scotch Buyers. I have any blue label in there? Cypress? No, actually I don't. I have been meaning to buy a bottle. I'm not a huge fan of Johnny Walker in general. Like it's just good to have around. I have Johnny Walker red and black somewhere in the back. But and I should just have a bottle of Johnny Walker blue. Like no Scotch collection is complete without it. But I haven't bought one yet. There's a lovely song by a group called Moxie Fruvis. about various kinds of scotch called Zard Snodgrass. Man, that sounds really fake, Druidspire. Maliganox says, will there ever be other races in Landmark besides humans? I'm a dwarf at heart. It's unclear if we're going to put other races in. We were originally planning to, when it was like EverQuest Next Landmark, but now that we're kind of moving away from from EverQuest, it's unclear so if we were to put other races in it, what races should we put in there? Should it just be, fantasy races? Probably not. Should we have, Mass Effect sci-fi type races? I don't know. It's up for debate internally right now. We're really just in discussion phase about it. The awesome Omid O team. Yeah, the O team is really good. The Ohana. It would work if it was a Hawaiian stream. The League of Horrible Storytellers. Ouch, Buckwheat. Ouch. It's getting late here. Oh, thank you for coming, Ebrick. It was really nice to have you. Omid and the Twitch Experience. Does sound like a pretty good name for a band. Should put in the Omid race. Well, apparently people at the H1Z1 thing were asking for the Omid. Where's the Omid zombie? And can you O-nod in H1Z1? And then poor Jimmy Wisenhunt, because we work on separate teams. I've actually not met the guy yet. Thank you for following Mike Bike 09. Appreciate it. Welcome to the O team. That sounded okay, right? Yeah, I haven't met him. I'm actually going to have lunch with him on Monday because we were just joking around about it. But he's like, what's an O-nod? I'm like, oh, that Omid guy. Yeah, I know who that is. Well, thank you for following Vorprail. I appreciate it. And guys, if you're having a good time, you want to hang out and see more streams like this, thank you for following Portivar. Definitely hit follow. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on YouTube. I almost have 5,000 followers on Twitter. I'm so excited. Oh, thank you for following C. Neil. 9 followers away. Would really like to get there by the end of the weekend. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter, I would definitely appreciate it. Let's see. How about when CNN made fun of me? Yeah, that's a pretty good story. Let me switch it over to just me. So, yeah, so Udi just bought me a drink, and when you buy me a drink, you get to pick one of the stories from my terrible list of stories. Let me get down to the bottom of the chat, but the one that she chose is the time that CNN made fun of me, which actually did happen. Let's see. Oh, Buckwheat, I'm just kidding with you. It's almost like we all know each other here. Yeah, it does kind of start to feel like that. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting phenomenon of Twitch. I met Visionary Gaming last Friday for the first time, and he's a really cool guy. And we had this funny interaction at first where it's just like, hey, I kind of know you. How do you interact with someone that you sort of know from talking to on the internet a little bit? But yeah, so I grew up in Atlanta, which is where CNN is headquartered. And when I was growing up, Ted Turner, who owns CNN, or did own CNN, was just kind of starting out his whole becoming an insane media mogul thing. And so he'd started CNN, he had Turner Broadcasting, TBS, a few other things. And, but CNN was still even though it was a national network, it was kind of low rent. And, so they covered a lot of stuff around Atlanta. They still do. And Onus, I haven't had a chance to look yet. I check all that stuff after the stream. It's just too hard to do it during the stream. But yeah, so, I was going to school I went to school in, like, really inner city Atlanta, like, really sketchy part of town. And we went on a field trip to, like, a health and wellness, fitness kind of fair that was, like, in the Omni, which is where CNN is, like, the Omni Center. I don't know what it's called anymore, but that's what it was called back in the day. And, it's all things like, proper eating and that kind of thing, and, education about Scotch, obviously. But, sort of towards the end of the day, they had that dude, I have no idea what his name is. The guy who kind of has, like, Richard Simmons hair, but is in that, like, bodysuit that has, like, all the organs on it. I have no idea how else to. Surely someone in the chat is going to know who this is. But so he's on stage, and, like, we're all sitting out in the audience, watching him. And, he's talking about, like, how you need to eat your vegetables and, like, go jogging and, all these things that I clearly do. And, just talking. And we're all, like, we've been told we're going to McDonald's, and we would like to go to McDonald's, and he's still freaking talking. And, so we're all kind of, like, making fun of it. And the last thing he said, or, he's like, and so, who in the audience exercises at home? Like, can you, demonstrate, like, some exercise for us? And for whatever reason, I'm just like, I'll do this. I got this one. I'm like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old at this point. I don't know how I got to be such an asshole. But I go up, and he's like, okay, well, what exercise are you going to show us? I'm like, well, I didn't really think about that. I have to actually tell a story. I have to show you an exercise. I'm like, so what I do for exercise is I cross all of my fingers. Oh, God, I can't even do it anymore. Like, cross all of my fingers, and then, sit Indian style, and then just pop right up, right? And he's like, oh, well, please show us. And so, I do. Like, I just go sit Indian style and just pop right back up with my fingers crossed. I'm like, ta-da! And, he's like, okay, thanks, guy. Really appreciate that. Slim Goodbody, that's him. Thank you, Elworm. And, didn't think anything of it. And then, we go to McDonald's for our obviously healthy lunch and go back to school. My dad was traveling at the time and, calls me up that night, and he's like, hey, you were on CNN today. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. So they were covering that health and wellness event. And, at the very end, like, they, like, always kind of wrap up with something snarky. They showed the footage of me, like, popping up like that, and then the anchor guy's like, well, I guess some people have their own way of exercising, ha ha ha. And it was like, man, it's like, CNN zinged a small child, and it was me? Man, that sucks. So that's the story. Thank you for following Mega Gel. Appreciate it. Wait, did McDonald's even have healthy food back then? Agnar, no. It's like now. They didn't have any healthy food. No, and I mean, that was the funny thing, right? Is, like, they take us to this health and wellness fair or whatever, and then we go eat McDonald's for lunch. I mean, that was the kind of place where I grew up. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I should probably wrap it up. I need to get up in the morning, get some stuff done. I'm gonna... yeah, it's a rough story, right? So cheers, Udi. Thank you for following Dade the Deck, or probably Dade the Dark Knight, I assume. But yeah, I should wrap it up. I've got to take care of some stuff in the morning. And then I'm hoping to actually get some streaming in tomorrow. Not going to be streaming at 4. Usually I try to stream at 4, but I have a social function that I have to attend. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Just, messes with my schedule. But anyway, thank you guys so much for showing up. I do really appreciate it. If you aren't following, I would definitely appreciate it if you follow me or follow me on Twitter or YouTube, that sort of thing. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll see you soon. So take care.